Hey, what's going on, guys? Tony here, CCxRC, and today is going to be our last video in the build series for the SMT10 Raw Builder's Kit. So we're going to get into this thing. There's not a lot left for us to do. Ours looks pretty complete just backwards from this, because really what we need to do is paint the driver, which mine is already painted. You're going to have to follow the directions for that one on yourself. Just apply a few stickers that you want on here, and you'll be good to go. Mine may look a little different. I actually already had this one from another rig that I kept, and I just decided to use. It shows you it's pretty easy to do. So basically we're going to be installing him, and then what else are we going to be installing? We're going to be putting on the side plates here, which are going to be our sponsor plates, which I've got mine stickered up and ready to go on. You can paint them. Some people paint them black. I choose to leave mine clear and just get a bunch of stickers to put on them, like so. And yeah, so that's what I've got for mine. But then we'll do our wheels, tires, bind it up, and we'll be ready to go. So let's get into this thing. We don't really need directions for any of this. We just need to get it done. So let's do it. All right, so what I'm going to be doing, guys, is tribute wheels on mine. The 2.6 wheels instead of 2.2s. And these are the black ones. They have them in white, silver, and that. And then we're going to be using the J Concepts Gold Year tires in the blue compound, which is kind of like a good all-around dirt tire. They have it in gold as well, and that's kind of for some of the indoor racing that we do with them. And I don't remember. I always have to go back and look if that means it's for carpet or if it's for smooth, like slick concrete. But I don't remember. I pretty much run blues for what we do here with No Limit RC in Virginia, and they seem to do well. Now, when you do put your wheels on, whichever ones you choose to get, I have some of mine glued up already. 2 of them have to go one direction, and 2 have to go the other, of course, right? So that when they're like this, they have to be mounted that way. So I have to find out which way all of mine are mounted, and then mount these to match. So these, oh, I thought I messed up. There we go. So that's how I have to do mine. So that means that I need to have the wheel hex on the inside, and they come with different offsets for them. I like to run a wider truck, but it does come with 3 options. And those options are going to be an 11 millimeter, 18 millimeter, and a 25 millimeter. So there's 7 millimeter difference between them all. I do the 25s in mine. So basically I'm going to be putting this into the inside of the wheel here. You'll see the holes line up, and you can see where the bolts kind of set in on this side. So these will just kind of lock in there. I found it easiest if I just kind of push one of them through. The screws come with it that you need. You definitely want to have a drill bit set for this if you can, because it just makes all of the difference in the world to be able to do all of these screws that you're going to have to do for this kit. And on some of my trucks I don't even run the inserts, which we'll show you in just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2, 4, 6 of these, and we'll be right back when that's all buttoned up, and we'll look at the next part of this process. Alright, so we have the 6 little screws in, and the trick to it is do 1 and then go directly across and do it, and then across at an angle, and then you kind of do a star pattern around, and the same with when you tighten them, do it in a pattern around to get it evenly tightened down. Alright, so now that we have that done, we're going to put the tire on and glue it so it'll be drying as we do the rest of the build. But you can see some of the different inserts you have that go inside the tire. They have these, and then I've actually got a coat of paint starting on these ones. And I use these ones because you can access the nut without having to take this off. So if you're racing and you're in a hurry, this is way faster than having to take out all those little screws to get in and get the nut off the rim and pull it off the truck. So I do this one so I always have easy access. I'm going with an orange for this. We're going to do red on the outside, going with the fire theme, yellow or orange and red. I bought orange and red. I wasn't sure what I was going to do for the ring. Anyway, so we're going to move on with this. going to do the tire, which we've got set up, and again, based on how I have these set, I want that hex that's here to go in through this side. Now it does come with a little foam as well, piece here that slides on and fills in this little gap on here. Like so, if you wish to do it. I don't always do it. I find that it just kind of binds up on the other foam inside the tire, and so it's kind of just a pain to work with and keep it where it's supposed to be. So you guys decide whether or not that's something you want to do and mess around with. Once you get this over and on, squeeze over, we'll go ahead and get our bead set on the other side. But basically just have to manhandle it for a minute, and then we'll kind of push it into place, kind of tug, make sure we get that foam all the way over and into the inside of that bead, and then pull this back like so. So this side is set. Check this side out. See, our white foam is all twisted and folded in there. Go ahead and just straighten that out. Very patient with tires. It's one of my, other than shocks, one of my least favorite things to do. So it's looking pretty good. And so don't follow my process for doing this. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this. You should probably have a medium weight glue. I use a thin glue because I have it for my planes. And I have it somewhere here on the table. So this is what I use. It's odorless, Instacure, thin glue. It's supposed to set really fast. Really, it's like for foam planes and stuff. Won't melt the foam, but this is what I use. If it was thicker, it would be a lot easier, because you'll see what happens here is that it's going to kind of want to run around the bead here. In fact, I should probably put something under it. And then you should also have something, so as I lift this up, you'll start seeing that the glue is going to already be kind of where I'm going, kind of traced around here. Try and get underneath it as well. Just really trying to get the glue to hold this tire on. Whoop, it's running. Got a runaway glue. Now, what I do is I just kind of hold it here for a little bit. Not ideal, right? It'll give me time to answer some questions on the live stream that we're doing. And then I'm going to let it set even longer, and then I'll do the other side. These ones in the other live stream I was on just before this, over at the Tank RC, I had already done these ones, and over a course of an hour. Some people wait one day and do the other side. For these, and for the amount of power I'm putting through them, usually it's not too bad. Maybe in freestyle I'll rip them off the bead and have to reset them, but overall mine hold up pretty good. Alrighty guys, welcome to the side panels. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be putting in our sponsor panels, and those require screws from bag I, as well as putting in the little driver if you want to put them in. Some people don't even ever put in the driver. So when I put the driver in, I typically just put the two front screws in so I can quickly take them out as well. I mean, you can go from the inside, they say, and screw them in on the inside here. But alright, so we're going to do that, and that just requires a few of the screws out of bag I. This right here, real short one. And we're going to use those to put in our sponsor plates first. Pretty good. Let's bring this in. Kind of hold it like that. I love these stands. They're so awesome. Find so many ways to use them, especially with this magnetic mat underneath it. It kind of locks it, so other ones would slide away. This one doesn't slide because it's metal, so it locks it in. Really cool. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. They're not very long, so not a big deal. The thing that I've seen people do that I am thinking about wanting to do is they mount their on-off switch right inside of this. So they cut a little hole in here and they push it through so that they can access it easy. and then drill little holes that they can put screws in and hold it in place, which is great because there's really no other good way to mount these stupid things, and they end up ripping off. And yeah. Alright, so now that we've installed the side sponsor plates, we're going to go ahead and put the driver in place and get him ready to go. You just kind of got to squeeze him in here. Put your wires underneath there. It all fits in nice and easy. But you know what? There's one thing that we should probably do before we do all this, and that is make sure that our motor directions and all that are set up right. And bind up our controller, do that, because I don't want to have to take this out in order to flip around some wires. So I'm going to do that first. Hope that makes sense to you guys. So we need to unscrew this, because I got to bind up my controller. And we're going to go ahead and add while we're here. I'm going to go ahead and add a little glitch buster. There we go. And I'll just tuck in here. Like so. So I do need to go ahead and find a bind plug. Really an easy process, but it's just annoying sometimes. So we are going to go ahead and put this up on blocks here before we do this. Alright, so now that we have it with the bind plug in here, we go ahead and put in our battery. This is a Spectrum 5000 milliamp hour, just a 2S. It's an IC5 connector, which is why I'm running the EC5s on here. These will match up great. Apparently, my switch was on already. So let's go ahead and turn this off. We're on blocks without wheels on. So everything is fine and dandy. Nothing's going to be wrong. We're going to grab our controller next. Alright, so I'm going to do model select. Add new, and I've got one, so now I'm on 12. Go back into our settings. Let's scroll all the way down to bind frame. Right here. Just select that. Now we're going to put this into bind mode. Just turn on the car and hear it. And now we're going to say bind. This is binding. We've got it. Yeah, we got it. Steering's backwards. That's alright if steering's backwards. The main thing we don't want to be backwards is our throttle. It's going forward, so we've got it set up good here. Oh, it sounds quick. Whoa. That's 2S. Alright. So now I feel comfortable buttoning all this back up. So we're going to go ahead and turn it off. Remove our bind plug. So the last part of this little step is we're going to be putting the driver in, then we'll be doing the wheels. So go ahead and kind of get him situated in here. Going to push our wires down, and he's going to help hide those a little bit for us. Now you can screw him in from the inside as well. I never do that. I just do the two front screws, and I allow the cage and stuff to kind of hold him there. If he bounces around, I'm cool with that. Doesn't matter to me. I just want the ease of access of pulling these two screws and being done with it when I need to get in there. So that's how we're going to do it. There we go. Now the last part we're going to do is we're going to close all this stuff up, which would be great. And then we'll get the hexes on the wheels, and then I'll show you guys how I do my bodies using some plastic that we'll just cut out. Screw holes in, put on the top here, put on, possibly cut drill holes and put it on the body posts, and then stack a few pieces and then put Velcro on that as well. So that will do as well. So that is it for that bag. Now we're going to go ahead and put on our hexes, which is bag J. And we're going to get this thing all buttoned up. Put some tires on it. See how she looks, all set up. This part's real easy. We're home stretch now. First things we're going to be doing is grabbing the pins. And if you do use a little bit of grease, that does help. Hold them in place while you do this. Makes your hands a little messy, if you don't mind that. Get a little dab of grease on there. And it'll hold it in the axle in place while you line up your hex to put on there. That looks good. So now we're going to have to add the grub screw, but this is going to require some blue Loctite. Alright, what I'm going to quickly do is I'm marking this little plate here, because I'm going to go ahead and cut this out using scissors. And we're going to put this thing in there. Get it done the right way. Already annoyed by it, so. So I got my Lexan scissors. Just going to go in here and kind of cut this out. Alright, so those two screws that I saved by not using them for the driver in the inner back side, we're going to try and use these. Oh, they're perfect. That works. Now I just need to release. That was one. Now the second one. Not finding the hole I drilled. There it is. Beautiful. Now we have our mounted switch, and that makes me happy. So there you can see, and it's in there pretty good. Definitely beats some of my other ones I cut off and soldered it together, so whenever I plug in the battery it just turns on, because I kept ripping this off. But it's a pain now because between races and stuff you have to take the body off to do it. Now I can leave my bodies on and just, once I have the batteries in, they're in there for the day. I dig it. Alright, so next part of this is we're going to be installing our rings, which aren't really completed yet, but they're good enough. They're good enough for now. I can go back and clean them up, but it'll give you an idea of what the look is here with the orange inserts. So there you go. So here are the red ones. These are what are going on this truck from J Concepts. So that's going to go in here. Kind of looks about the same color on the video. These are awesome tools. Are you guys more in the mood for Son of a Digger Fire? It's looking really good. And then the front wheel that's backwards. I really don't know where in that process I swapped the tire around. I thought I held it perfectly right to show us how to do it. So yeah, so I think what I'll do is we'll Velcro up to these posts. So there's a couple ways that you can do it, and a couple ways that I've done it. And that is to basically make a plate that sits right on here. You drill out the holes there, and then you cut out a middle piece that goes in here, because they glue on real good with the Tamiya cement. That basically melts them together, and you just make a stack until it's the same height as these posts are. Then you put Velcro right there in the middle, to line up with the body, and then you do the same for the front. So you got a front and back, or you can do a piece of Velcro here. I think what I'm going to lean toward doing on this is we're just going to go ahead and do this. So we'll get a quick little measurement. I don't go for anything super accurate for this. You probably could. All I'm going to do is, I know that measurement already based on what we just saw. Make a cut here. So can line this up on here if we wanted. I go about 1.5 inches. Something like that's pretty good. And then we just score it. Bend it over and break it the rest of the way. And we don't need that much width past these. I want to kind of tuck it in there with the body a little bit. Again, I'm just kind of eyeballing. Not going super accurate here. And then I'll put my tire on backwards, as I just am not being super accurate. Break that off. That drill bit looks perfect. Right about there. And then I'm just going to drill right into my table. That's beautiful. That there is perfect. This is when perfection meets redneck. That's a beautiful thing. So we're just going to body clip that on there. So it'll be held on by body clips still, so you can remove it if you don't like how it's looking for your picture. To be, and then we'll just template it off of this. All right. There we go. It's our stack. You get this on here. Ah, shoot, we only needed 2. We'll use that in the front. Here's the Velcro that I use on this. It's the industrial strength Velcro. I picked it up at Walmart, and there's a couple different ways I go about this. Usually, I put the hard tape on the body in case I need to replace this because it starts to fray. I don't want to be peeling it off of a paint job or whatever on a body. I'd rather pull it off of the car. So, and that's why I do that. And you don't want to do too much because it is so strong. so strong that it will create havoc if you have too much on there. And that really stuck. And then when we glue that on there, that'll be good to go. Now I will put a bigger piece inside the actual car body. And I'll probably do a strip so that I can line it up and set it down. But that's the basic idea. Alright, so once I make my Velcro posts, I'll take the other piece of Velcro, and I like to do the non-fabric side up in the body because you do have to replace the fabrics after you pull it so many times because it just starts to get loose. So we just take them, they're sticky, you put them on the 2 spots where the body's going to sit, and then you're going to line it up and just press down. So now we've got the pieces in here. We're just going to go and make sure that they're pressed in. You can see it's a little bit longer than these posts are, so you have a little bit of leeway when putting it on to get it lined up exactly how you want it. So there you have it, guys. There's kind of a little bit long build series for this. Just trying to get through all the different parts for it. But loving how it turned out. The fire theme I think is going to be awesome, especially with the inside orange here. We're going to go around and just do some dabbing here, maybe of black or silver. We'll decide soon on each one of these. It's going to be a little bit tedious. I think it'll make it pop though. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, hope your builds go awesome. And be sure to let me know in the comments if you have any questions about any of the parts that I used, or people to contact if you want to try and get custom bodies done for them like these and really kind of make it shine a little bit. So there's lots of guys out there doing this. I encourage you to look up the groups. There's like Trigger King on YouTube doing the racing. No Limit RCs on the East Coast. They're kind of a lot of different places. You got the monster trucking up in New York that's going on. Lots of cool stuff. People down in Florida. I know there's a No Limit in Florida as well. Lots of stuff for you. There's West Coast. There's even in Hawaii. So if you want to get into it, you can get into it. Maybe you're the person that starts it in your state. I don't know. But we're excited to have you building these things, checking them out. And we'll catch you next time, guys. Have fun RCing. See you in the next videos.